Walk. It's great to have some football to talk about this week. We're talking about Trekk Fertzi. Just how good is he, and just how bad is Jebison? Fans want him gone. We'll get Luke's view on that. I'm not sure. We need to guess what he's going to say. Also, why aren't Watford being talked about in terms of promotion contenders this season? Or are we bothered by that? And what's going on with the Championship? Does it feel a little bit flat this season? We'll get all these guys' views on that. Let us know what you think of us in the comments as well. And we hope you're doing well. If you didn't do our quiz last week and missed that, go back at the end of this video and have a go at our Christmas quiz. We're delighted to have you back on Where Hornets Walk. Welcome back, Rio, Aaron, and Luke, fresh back from beating West Brom. By the way, they hadn't lost in 13 games. So that's a massive scalp, Rio, isn't it?
I mean, hadn't lost in 13 games, but I think they've won one of those 13 games.
Okay, all right.
No, I think they've probably got the best one, apart from Cleverley, the best manager in the league. Corberan, very good. He's been linked with numerous Premier League clubs on occasions, and they're a very stubborn team to beat. And I think we had our spells in the first half, but we're probably lucky to go in ahead. They missed a couple of good chances, but first 25 minutes of that second half until they pulled one back, we were head and shoulders above them. Trekk Fertzi, I'm usually his biggest critic, so I want so much more from him, but he was running the show. The only way they could stop him was by tugging his shirt.
Absolutely, yeah. Trekk Fertzi was a level above again, and we haven't talked about him for a while on here, Aaron. Has his performance has gone off a little bit, or is he just doing that solid job where you don't kind of notice all the good bits that he does?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say the performance has really gone off at all. I just think because he doesn't get loads of goals and loads of assists, people don't talk about him. But if you actually look at the underlying numbers, you look at stats like key passes and successful dribbles, entries into the final third, chances created. I think he's in the top 5 at least in pretty much all of those in the league this season. I genuinely think it's hard to find many number 10s on his level in this league. And if he adds goals and assists to his game, then he's already better than a Championship player. If he's able to improve his finishing, then he's well beyond this league for his ability.
Yeah. Is he at Premier League quality at the moment for you, Aaron, or not?
I'd say he is. I think you'll probably see some interest from sort of the mid-table teams. I know it come out a while back. I'm not sure how credible the source was, but he's on Wolves' list to look at to try and help their struggles. Whether that will happen with a new manager, and that's ultimately why we've tied him down to another contract, because we know that it's likely clubs will come sniffing, whether that be January or the summer, and we want to make sure that we get a decent amount of money for him.
Amazing. We'll come on and talk about other players in a second, but there was a tweet about Jebbison, Luke, and it wasn't an isolated one, so I thought we'd land on you to come with this one, if that's okay. He says, I'm not trying to be negative as it's a huge win, but Jebbison needs to go back in January. To be tactically dropped a few times and still come on and not even try to press the opposition, he needs to take a long look at himself. It's not our problem. Send him back. Go on then, Luke. Give us what's for.
Yeah, he did have his cameo yesterday, and when he did come on, you are, well, that guy's point's right about him not really pressing. But I think it was one of those things that at that stage of the game, there's no point you just single-handedly pressing because you're never going to get the ball back. It's good to do it, but he didn't really offer much. But at the end of the day, you did come on for the last 10 minutes, and his job was not to come on and score a goal. His job was to at least just be there if there's a long ball up, which he didn't do anything, by the way. He didn't win one aerial draw or anything. I don't think he even had a touch, actually. Everything just kept going past him. And where I sit at Watford, I sit the top row, right? And I wanted to get back in time for the City game. So I walked down the stairs to watch the last minute there just before I went. And this bloke next to me, I sort of just squeezed into a row, and he was just shouting about Jebison. He's like, can't wait to get rid of him. I saw that with a smile on my face, thinking at least I'm not the only one. But I think it is that sort of thing where it's a waste of our wage structure for this season, where we could probably bring in somewhere else. I think it will be the right thing to send him back on loan, because he's only been playing for the under-23s and barely for us, and he hasn't done anything to sort of give us a reason to keep him. I would get rid of him in Jan, send him back, and hopefully just use that money we've got from him to reinvest in the club, which we need different players for.
Yeah, I was just gonna say quickly. I haven't been on Twitter for a while, but I looked back on yesterday. First tweet I see is about how bad Jebison's cameo was and he wasn't pressing it, etc. Chetty retweeted it. Imagine my shot.
Mate, had to do it.
Oops. Yeah, let us know what you think. All right, getting serious a little bit here then. So you're now 7th. Okay, you are surprising everybody. Don't forget, I think nearly every pundit tipped you to be relegation fodder. I think actually, to be fair, all 3 of you did on here back in August. 34 points. If you beat Burnley at the weekend, then you are only 4 points behind them with a game in hand, and yet no one's talking about Watford for promotion yet. Rio, why?
No, I wouldn't be talking about us for promotion yet because last season, end of January, or after QPR away, we were 7th, 1 point off playoffs maybe, and we ended up 6 points above the drop. Year before, we were 3rd at Christmas after beating Huddersfield. We ended up winning 5 of our last 24 games and 11th in the league with João Pedro, Sara, Spria, you name it. So not getting ahead of myself just yet. We can easily fall off, but I hope we flirt with playoffs. And if we get something at Burnley, it's a good platform to build on because you got 2 home games over that Boxing Day and Sunday period. And if you get a point at Burnley, which apart from lockdown, I can't remember the last time we lost there, then we are looking good. But we know we're going to beat these big. We've beaten lots of big teams at home this season. It's just the away form. We've taken 3 points from Plymouth away, Hull away, and QPR at home. I mean, you got to be picking up some more if you want to be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, Aaron, do you mind? I mean, you're not being talked about in the media. You're not in the discussions when I look at the odds for who's going to get promoted or who's going to get the playoffs. Watford is still down there, like mid-table. Does that irk you, or do you actually prefer you not being in the conversation?
No, I absolutely prefer it. I think the only target that matters is the target those players and the manager set for themselves, because they're the only people that affect that target, and they're the only people that can aim for it. And it's all on their effort. And I think Cleverley probably says the same. They'd ignore any media speculation, whether it's good or bad, which is what he has done, to be fair, to shrug off sort of that relegation fodder tag that they had at the start of the season. Look, I think there's definitely still issues in this Watford team that, if sort of tugged at and pulled loose, would probably see us pull away from the playoff places. But I think we're a few smart moves in January away from really having a go. And I think if we see those happen, then you might see people start to talk about us more. But I'm happy going on the radar for now.
Okay. And Cleverley himself has gone on the radar, Luke, hasn't he? I mean, John Eustace is getting the plaudits at the moment. He's actually, I think, in the list to possibly be the Wolves manager or the Southampton manager. But Cleverley's not on anywhere near those lists. I mean, you're probably very glad that he isn't, but should he be?
100% he should be on the list. I think it is also with that, being a new manager at the end of the day. This is, he's only been in a full-time sort of managerial role for a year, where John Eustace has been around for a bit more longer. But I think it is one of those things that is tough to say, is he there? But, you look at our home form and it is like he's not lost a game at home. It is ridiculous. Like, I don't know if there's even any manager in England have done that. And for your first job as well. It is just our away form. If we pick up our away form, I think that is the difference in our season. Home, I feel comfortable about beating anyone. And, I probably could say, I think we could go all season at home without losing. But it is our away form which needs to pick up. And if we do get something against Burnley, which I do fancy us, I think that is what will be the difference for us. But we need to keep Cleverley under the radar with us at the moment, because if you continue like that, there's no reason why he shouldn't be taken it by a better side.
Okay. A quick word on the whole game. We haven't mentioned that. Speaking of bad away games, you managed to squeak a point there, Rio. But was that as bad as a performance as you've seen in recent months?
The food on the ground was the highlight of the day. But what's the name? Yeah, just how they hadn't won in like 12 or something. Lost their last 6. Obviously, you're going to get the new manager bounce, but just feel it was off right from the start. The lineup. I mean, the lineup yesterday, perfect. I mean, bar Morris at left back, who struggled, but on what was it, Wednesday night, Kiembe in the midfield. I mean, we still haven't found our best midfield partnership. And who else? Ebiselli wasn't starting, nor was Andrews. Barr was on the bench. Vatta was on the bench. I mean, I get against a team like Burnley, who we play on Saturday, why you might go a bit basic to try and like be good off the ball and keep it level for as long as possible. But when you're playing bottom of the league, Hull, the most out of form team in the league, you should be going for it. And we should have fancied ourselves, because if we are going to pick up any away wins this season, probably most likely going to be the teams at the bottom, like Hull.
Okay. All right, thank you very much for that, all of you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. You know where the button is, just underneath Luke there on the screen. Press it now. You get an alert 20 minutes of Watford chat every single week. This week we're finishing off with a kind of a depressing chat, really, which is about just football in general, in particular the Championship. There's been people saying that football just feels a bit flat at the moment. In particular, the Championship hasn't lit up this season for some reason, Aaron. It just feels a little bit... First of all, do you agree with that? Not from you're enjoying it as a Watford fan, but generally around the standard of football, etc., atmospheres. And if so, what's happening?
Honestly, I don't think I do. I think we've still seen quite a few sort of... We still had them exciting moments with the last-ditch goal. We had the Sunderland Leeds one. Plymouth have done it God knows how many times, and they're still down there, which is quite impressive. No, I actually don't hold that sentiment. I think most of the teams that I've seen come to Vicarage Road have given us a decent go at it. I think the games are close. I'd say, even though there's like 3 teams maybe at the top there that have pulled away a touch, I don't think they're gone. Whereas if you look at Leicester last season, by this point they were a stupid amount of points clear, weren't they? And what would people rather that? I know I wouldn't. So I hold the other view. I think this season's Championship is better than last season's.
People are saying about the early kickoffs, Luke, about the fact that you've played your fair share already. You get to watch 20 Watford games this season if you're a Sky subscriber, and people preferring to do that than go the game, and that's leading to some awful atmospheres in the early kickoff and so on. Do you think, is that having an impact at all?
Completely. I'm quite a big advocate on this sort of... I hate this Sky Sports sort of new deal. I think to have 3 half-12 games is just ridiculous. And even the 7:45 games on the midweek games, I don't mind that. I kind of understand that being on a red button, because for the average sort of fan, you're not going to be able to get there in time. So even the game yesterday, I had a Sunday league game and had to literally get there in an hour and a half, and I just about made it, luckily. But I understand that wasn't actually because of TV. That was because the 2 clubs agreed, which I worked out after I was quite annoyed in the morning. But I think it is just ridiculous for supporters. Their sort of point was that we're going to announce their games 6 months in advance, so you can plan in ahead. It's more me thinking, I'm not going to Sunderland at 12:30 if we get through in the cup, because it's just a waste of my time, and it takes up the whole weekend. I think it is ridiculous. A lot of supporters are probably sick of it now, and it seems it's going to continue. I think that is what doesn't help as well. If the TV sort of kill it, what's the point going, really? I get that sort of bit. It's quite sort of depressing, that new Sky deal. When I first saw it, I thought it'd be bad, but I don't think it'd be that bad. I think we've only played, I think it's 2 or 3 away games at 3 o'clock. I think Burnley's our 3rd one this season, a good old Saturday 3 o'clock, which is for the Championship. Even the Prem, I'd still think that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I think the effect on attendances is definitely evident. Yeah. I mean, you put it this way: last season we weren't a good team to watch, and you think about how bad the attendances dipped, sort of latter end of Ishmael into Cleverley. The ground was as empty as it's been for a long time. And then now we're the best home team in the country at the moment, and the attendances are at that same level. And the only thing, Watford as a team have got better, but because of these awkward kickoff times, or people opting to watch it on the telly, the attendances haven't risen back up. When if this had happened without this TV deal, I believe there would be more people at Vicarage Road.
There's a Preston fan, Rio, who said, I think it was last Saturday when the Merseyside derby was going to be on at the early kickoff and the Sheffield Wednesday against Preston. He's like, who is actually going to be sat watching Sheffield Wednesday versus Preston? The only people that will be watching it won't be the Wednesday fans because they'll be there, but there'll be a small handful of Preston fans who aren't Christmas shopping. So actually, who's actually watching these games?
This isn't even to do with Championship and Sky, but for example, our game in the FA Cup against Fulham, which is a Thursday night, which, I mean, who's going to be watching that? I mean, it's for overseas broadcast as well. Yeah,
but they haven't even found someone to take it.
No overseas channel
is absolutely absurd.
Has taken it on, and instead of we might have taken 4,000 or 5,000. Probably going to take half of that now because everyone's got work, school, college, whatever the next day, and it's not even for the own supporters. You're going to get less of an attendance from the Fulham side of things and the Watford side of things, which means less money into both clubs because obviously they split the gate receipt. And for the Championship as well, I think it has a massive effect on atmospheres because we've had our last 3 o'clock home game on a Saturday was Middlesbrough, 5th of October, something like that. And we've had one away all season, as Luke said, which was Sheffield Wednesday. And it's just, they say 5-6 months in advance, but then by the time it hits January or February, it's on a 1 month rolling basis. So it makes no difference as well. So, and yeah, you can't even get Sky Plus after time. It's a package which you have to pay for. So whatever.
Yeah, go Now TV, folks. I'll recommend it. Right. Thank you very much, you three. Good luck against Burnley. Rumours are, by the way, that this Friday night, if Derby win, your old mate might be on his way out over the weekend. If Derby win, those are the rumours. Anyway, we're hearing. I'm sure that will please you. More on that next week. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, good luck against Burnley. We'll see you in 7 days' time for the last one before Christmas.